What's up, guys? Adam here. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I smoked some ribs on the smoker this morning. We just got done eating lunch. I think my wife's probably in there binge watching Netflix, more than likely. Her favorite Sunday afternoon pastime. So I'm outside trying to get some work done. It's a kind of a cool, really windy day today here in Iowa. But I've got a landscaping project that I started last year that I'm trying to get finished up here, and I've got some beds. Maybe I'll show you later. I've got a bunch of I built some retaining walls with a bunch of landscaping beds in them, and I'm bringing in a bunch of black dirt to get up to the top of the wall so I can then put down river rock. And I just thought I'd kind of show you guys where I get black dirt from. In the past, like anybody, I've brought loads of black dirt in, but I came up with this process that's worked super good for me, and I thought I'd kind of show you how I'm getting free black dirt out of my backyard. But basically what I've got here, so we live, kind of look behind over my shoulder here, we live in the sticks, so I've kind of got, opportunity that if you have a smaller piece of land you wouldn't have, so I guess I'm fortunate that way. But I've got this spot back here. My eventual plan, I think I've actually talked about this on a video before. My eventual plan, I'll give you, come back this way so you can see a little better. So my house sits up there, and we've got this ravine that runs back behind the house, which you can see. And my eventual plan is to actually to dam this up across here, and I'm going to create a pond at the back of our property here. This little ravine, I'm not sure how many acres drain into it. I would say probably I bet you there's at least 30 acres or so that drain into this ravine, and when it rains we get a lot of water through this thing, and then it just kind of dries up, and then it rains, we get a bunch of water again. So I'll have no shortage of fresh water coming into this thing. But anyway, so this was always kind of an open spot here anyway, not a ton of trees. There was kind of some smaller trees, so I kind of stripped away what little bit of brush and stuff was here, and I've got this little patch that I'm going to say is probably, down there at the bottom, it's probably, 15 feet wide, and then up here at the top it's probably 20 feet wide. And as you can see, I've basically just scraped this down. I use my scraper blade, my Land Pride. It's a 54-inch scraper blade, and I bet, it's hard to say for sure, but I bet I've probably cut down on average across this section probably 8 to 10 inches, maybe something like that. I don't know, it's hard to say. All I know is I've gotten a lot of dirt out of this thing. So again, since this is going to become a pond at some point anyway, or most of this will, I'd actually end up scraping this black dirt up anyway, so I'm just making use of it in my yard. And this works really well. So I just keep if you're familiar with this blade, it's got a few settings here. So I've got it at its, it can go down, I could drop it down one more setting. And I've done that before actually. I'll drop the teeth all the way down, and I'll cut some grooves, and then I'll lift them up and I'll come back and scrape. But the last couple times I've done this, I just kind of leave it here, and that leaves those teeth are probably a couple inches below the cutting blade here, and that seems to work pretty good. And it's not a super fast process, but I would guess that probably one blade full of dirt probably equates to about one bucket full, I would say. Actually might be a little bit more. And I've got teeth on this bucket. Those are the what do they call those? The piranha bar, I guess, which you can't see because there's about half full of dirt here, but I'll try to show you that a little bit better later too. But those just a flat blade bucket on these little tractors. This is a B2601. It's kind of worthless for digging dirt, but that tooth bar makes a big difference. So I'll just try to kind of show you a little bit here the process that I use. I just keep going back and forth until I get myself a little pile of dirt going. This was like premium, beautiful Iowa black topsoil. I'm starting to get down. Now little bit I'm starting to cut down to the point where I'm getting down to clay. We're in southern Iowa, or near the southern third of Iowa, and get a little bit of topsoil and then it turns into pretty crappy clay. So I think I'm getting down to the point where before too much longer I'm going to run out of topsoil here. So I've got a huge area over there that if I really wanted to, I could do the same thing, but my landscaping project's about done, so I probably won't need to. But anyway, I'll stop talking. I'll see if I can get the camera set up for you here. A couple different angles, you can kind of see how I do this. Alright guys, so that kind of gives you an idea there. Go ahead and shut the tractor off. I'm not sure how many passes that was. That was probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 passes maybe. It took me 10 minutes, not even that. And as you can see, I got a pretty good pile of dirt here to work with, so it takes very little time for me to get whatever I need. I think this little bit is probably about all I need. That's probably, let's see, I think that bucket's supposed to be, what is that bucket? A third of a yard or something. I mean, there's probably a couple yards of dirt here. And I'm kind of getting down to the point, it was for a while there, I was getting really, really good clean topsoil out of here, but as you can see, there's some trash in there, a lot of roots basically. So it seems like I've kind of gotten down to a layer, and you can see all the tree roots that are sticking up down in here. The first few times that I did this, I didn't have near that many, but I guess I'm down to the point where I don't know how far below the surface trees usually send those spreader roots, but I'm into them. So I gotta do a little bit of cleanup, a little bit of sifting this stuff before I, I'll take the big chunks out, and then after I dump it into the beds, I'll just kind of rake out the trash. Not a big deal. So anyway, there you go. And here's that piranha bar, if anybody's not familiar with it. Where'd I get this thing? Is it Be Expanded? I can't remember. I think maybe it's the company, but they've got different kind of bars for these things. This one is you can get different ones that have more kind of a traditional kind of single teeth that come out. Went with this one, and it actually works really well for what I do. It digs pretty well. You can still move gravel and stuff with it. And the other thing that works really well, and I've showed a video on this before too, but when you have all this underbrush, I've got a lot of multiflora rose and kind of nasty stuff, and you can drop that thing down flat to the ground. So for example, once I build this pond, I'll kind of clear out this whole area here, and it'll take me no time at all with that piranha bar just to skim right along the surface of the ground, and it'll just shave all that junk right off, push it in a pile, and done with it. So anyway, got a little long-winded there, longer than I was meaning to have this video, but just thought I'd kind of show you, another way that you can use your box blade. Super handy implement. I use this all the time on our gravel driveway to straighten it out. I've used it different places in the yard to straighten things out. As you can see, I push backwards with it too, because you can just kind of do a nice clean push, whereas when you go with the bucket, you kind of tend to dig in a little bit. At least I do, because I'm not a pro. That's a 54 inch, as you can see, and the 1254. And for this little tractor, for the 2601, I think it's just the right perfect size. A 54 inch blade is the same width as my bucket, which is 54. And you can probably hear when I was pulling with it, it bogs her down a little bit, but it pulls through okay. And when you see me stop spinning, it's usually because I'd get up here in the pile and I'd kind of lose traction in the pile. But if anybody's thinking about a box blade, I think a 54 is a perfect size for this 26 horse tractor. So anyway, guys, again, happy Mother's Day to you. Make sure you say happy Mother's Day to your wives and moms if they're still around. And hope you guys are having a great day. See you later. Bye. Time to switch to the shovel, which is not very exciting to watch.